Do you know what that symbol is?
Yeah, I know.
Not the it. Okay, you got the Sankofa the bird,
Yeah.
which I use in genealogy. To go forward, you have to know what's
No,
behind you. You
behind
have to
you.
look back. That symbol. Have you ever seen the movie called Last of the Dogmen?
No.
It's a western.
Yeah.
In the Cheyenne Indian culture, when the village was attacked, there was a group of warriors who would stand back and be the rear guard while the rest of the village left. That is what that symbol is. That's the Sankofa symbol for the rear guard. When the village is being attacked and the village needs to go, there's a group of warriors who will stand back and say, okay, here we are. And that's my symbol. We stand back to fight.
The meaning of the word Sankofa is one of the Adinkra symbols from the Akan people in Ghana. It means to go back and get it. It means you can't move forward until you know your past. And so we're always learning from our ancestors and from our history so that we can be rooted in our culture so we know where we go from here.
But the Sankofa bird, reaching back to grab something, reaching back in an uncomfortable manner. Because a lot of times what we do and going to get this kind of information, going to get this kind of, these kinds of things, find out about yourself, to truly know thyself, it's not always a comfortable endeavor, you know what I mean? So the Sankofa image of the bird, turning his neck around 180 degrees, of course that isn't a comfortable thing, for anybody, but reaching back like that to go back and get something that he's left behind, go back and get something that we as a people have left behind. I think it says so much. That imagery is important imagery, and so we should understand that it's not always going to be comfortable to go back and reach behind us, to turn our heads completely around, to turn our necks around, to almost break your neck. Sometimes that's what it takes.
Yeah.
So the bird reaching back and getting the food off his back symbolizes us going back and getting the knowledge that we need, the culture, the spiritual reality that we need in order to go forward. And so the second part to me of reaching back, the bird reaching the food on its back, is that you have to digest that food. That food becomes nourishment for the bird. That food becomes something for the bird to be strong in order to move forward. So it's not just reaching back, but it's actually applying that, using that nutrition to, make yourself healthy again and move forward. Sankofa Society is cool because it really is targeted towards majors and minors in African American Studies at Georgia State. So a lot of times you're getting students, young people who have never studied their people very much. So a lot of times this is a fresh beginning for them in certain things that are become a tradition, like going to Sapelo Island. That's priceless. Everybody who goes on that Sapelo Island trip, and I think they just got back from one, that Dr. Umoja usually takes. The students on it's priceless because the Gullah culture has maintained more Africanisms, that's what they call it in the scholarly world, or more African traits than any other culture in America, arguably. I mean, this is a very old culture. They maintained a lot of the ancient African ways. And so for us to be able to go to Sapelo Island and experience that, that's amazing. That's a form of Sankofa right there, a form of practicing it.
Oh man, that's gonna be good. So but Partridge High, after a while, but Rabbit Jack, Hugh, so they up dance. But Rabbit hopped down around the big tree. But wait a minute, it get down by the bush, and it peed. It kick all the sticking thing, and it couldn't find him. It said, well, but Partridge, I gives up. Where you now? Ain't ya nothing. I said, but Partridge, man, I tell you, I gives up. Where you now? I said, you gives up? I said, man, I said, I gives up. I said, you gives up? But Rabbit getting aggravated now. He said, man, I tell you, I done gives up. Now, where you at? I said, well, if you gives up, then get up from on top of me so I can get up.
Whenever we go, we also go to Savannah, and in Savannah, there's a church, and some would argue it's the oldest black church. All right, it's definitely one of the oldest black churches, and it's amazing to go to. It's beautiful inside, and there's actually decks in the floor where they would hide escaped enslaved people. And you would also see African, it's deep, you see African carvings, and you see Arabic writing in much of the church pews. So you saw that we maintained a lot of our original religion before Christianity. So that's always great. And to be able to go actually onto Sapelo Island, you had that feeling like you're going back, you know, to more ancient times. Yeah, definitely.
And it was like when we got on the ferry, and it was like a humbling experience, because like you kind of felt this eerie like presence, like man, they right over here.
When you went to the island?
Yeah, like, and then when you're on the island, it's so quiet. Like I wouldn't want to be there at night.
Did y'all go down to the beach?
No, we didn't get to go to the beach. Me and my friend, we walked off.
Which country is this?
Oh, it's
Savannah.
yeah, off the coast of Georgia.
It's like an hour outside of Savannah.
Okay.
So we're traveling this 20-minute ride to Sapelo. It's 20 minutes on the water to get to the island. So we traveling for 20 minutes or so. We get to Sapelo. It's like, wow, you know, I mean, I'm thinking ferry, I could bring my car with me over there and, you know, I could use my car. Nah, there's no car. There's no car. The roads have no stop signs. There's no stoplights. It's none of that.
3 bars.
Oh, good.
Yay!
You ain't on the island yet, though.
Did we ever make a count?
I mean, it was just a beautiful day. The sky was clear. The moss in the trees, the food, the aromas of the food, the music that was going on. I mean, it was a very beautiful event to know that everybody was there, hopefully, to raise money to help, you know, save Sapelo Island. So I enjoyed the festival.
more of a humbling experience because the people on the island still have their culture, and it helped. I couldn't help but think, how we haven't really so much preserved our own culture in a sense, but to know that they kept their own culture was really eye-opening. It was humbling. So.
Sweet grass baskets.
Thank you, sir.
Is driving a car?
Big cool.
Because there's a shortage of sweetgrass in South Carolina, they substitute the sweetgrass with pine straw. And it gives a color, it gives a good decoration and everything, but the pine straw won't last. These baskets will last anywhere from 80 to 100 years, whereas if you think about the pine straw in your yard, a lot of times a pine straw don't even last a year. So how long do you think your basket gonna do? A basket inside, I may give it 5 years.
Okay.
So the integrity of the baskets are not as good.
Oh.
Whereas all of our baskets are stronger.
Seagrass. Okay.
A little bit about my Uncle Greg. He lives in Savannah. What he does is he's a griot, he's a historian, and he goes around the country just picking up different information. But for our own personal family tree, he's basically traced our roots and found out, at least for the grants, where we came from. And most of our family has come from South Carolina, Granville, South Carolina.
The farthest back I've been able to go is 1890.
1890 and...
Right around, 1799.
What? That's way back.
Yeah. And this is going by the birth that's in the census. And his name is Samuel Brown, and out of Washington County, Georgia. On the Grant side, the farthest back I can get to is roughly about 1830.
1830. That's nice.
And I can't find certain people after them. And that's where I am now, trying to go back just a little bit further.
Well, Sankofa is a very important concept, and to make that concept an organization, it's a lot of responsibility. But that's the thing. Black people, a lot of times we don't want to take responsibility for our own destiny, for our own creation, our own voice. And that's what Sankofa gives you a platform for. Now, whether you take that platform or not is on you. But Sankofa gives you a vehicle to be active in your community and to create different programs and, different events to be active in your community. So I would say join Sankofa so that you could be a part of this machine. You can add your brain power, your ideas of what Sankofa should be, because it's still being crafted. We're still, it's not, any organization is not stagnant, So we need more people. And so if you really want to, because this is my thing, Georgia State has a lot of majors now and minors. And I talked to some of these minors, especially, they've never been up to the office. That doesn't make any sense. I can't believe that, because, when I was going here, we lived up here, this is our department. And now it's just different. I don't think even a lot of people know the history and what was going through to get to where we're at. So I would say if just the minors and the majors join, we would have a huge organization. I would say it's important to join Sankofa, especially if you're a minor or a major in African American Studies, because you're able to put what you're learning into practice. And that is where the value it really is in learning about yourself, is to be able to help others learn it themselves.